The morning sun filtered through the windows of Harrison's auto repair, painting golden streaks across the concrete floor. Daniel Harrison wiped his hands on a rag, examining the engine he'd just rebuilt. At 46, his hands knew engines better than anything else in this world. Engines made sense. They had problems you could diagnose and fix. People were harder. "Dad, don't forget I have soccer practice at 4. His 12-year-old son Tyler called from the office where he did homework after school. "I remember, buddy. We'll grab burgers after." It had been just the two of them for 8 years now, since Tyler's mother decided small-town life with a mechanic wasn't the adventure she'd signed up for. Daniel had learned to braid hair from YouTube videos and could now make a decent lasagna. They managed. The bell above the door chimed. Daniel looked up to see something unusual. A sleek black town car parked outside, and a driver opening the back door. A woman emerged, settling into a wheelchair with practiced grace. She was striking. Blonde hair pulled back in a perfect ponytail, wearing a cream-colored suit that probably cost more than his monthly mortgage, but it was her eyes that caught him. Sharp, intelligent, and carrying a weight he recognized, the weight of fighting battles nobody else could see. The driver held the door as she wheeled herself inside. "Are you Daniel Harrison?" Her voice was crisp, professional. "That's me. What can I do for you?" "I'm Victoria Ashford. My assistant said you're the best mechanic within 50 miles for vintage cars. I have a 1967 Mustang that's been sitting in storage. I'd like it running again." Daniel straightened. "That's a beautiful car. What's wrong with it?" "Everything, probably. It hasn't been started in 3 years." Something flickered across her face. "Not since my accident." He understood what she wasn't saying. The car represented a before that she couldn't get back to. "I'd be happy to take a look. When can you?" "Bring it by? My driver will have it towed here tomorrow." She handed him a business card. "Victoria Ashford, Chief Executive Officer, Ashford Industries. I'll stop by next week to check the progress." After she left, Tyler wandered out from the office. Who was that? "A customer who needs help with an old Mustang." She was pretty. "Don't you have math homework?" Tyler grinned. "Just saying." The Mustang arrived the next day, covered in dust but still magnificent under its neglect. Daniel spent the week coaxing it back to life. New battery, fuel system flush, brake overhaul, complete tune-up. When the engine finally turned over with that distinctive rumble, he felt the satisfaction he always did when bringing something broken back to wholeness. Victoria returned on Friday afternoon, wheeling herself into the garage with the same quiet confidence. "You got it running. It wasn't a question." She could hear the engine idling. "She's a beauty. Needed some care, but the bones were solid." He wiped his hands. "Want to hear her purr?" For the first time he saw her smile, really smile. It transformed her face. "I'd love that." He helped her transfer into the driver's seat, careful not to hover but ready if she needed assistance. She gripped the steering wheel, and he saw her hands tremble slightly. "It's been a long time," she said quietly. "Take your time. She's not going anywhere." Victoria sat there for several minutes, hands on the wheel, eyes closed. When she opened them, they were bright with unshed tears. "I used to drive this car every weekend. Top down, music loud, just me in the open road." Her voice was steady despite the emotion. "After the accident, I told myself those days were over. Sold everything that reminded me of who I used to be. Except this. Couldn't quite let it go. Maybe that part of you isn't gone. Maybe it's just waiting." She looked at him then, really looked. "You're not like most mechanics I've met. I'm exactly like most mechanics. We just like fixing things." "Some things can't be fixed, Mr. Harrison. Some things don't need fixing. They just need accepting." He met her gaze steadily. "And some things are stronger after they've been broken and put back together." Victoria was quiet for a long moment. "There's a charity gala tomorrow night. My company is the main sponsor. I'm expected to attend, but I've been dreading it." She paused. "I haven't been to a social event since the accident. People either stare or work too hard not to stare. I thought about sending my apologies, but that feels like hiding." Daniel waited. He sensed she was working toward something. "This is completely inappropriate and you can absolutely say no." She took a breath. "Will you be my date tonight? Tomorrow night, I mean." "To the gala." He blinked. You want me to go to a charity gala? I know it's strange, we barely know each other, but something about you makes me feel like I don't have to pretend everything is fine, and I could use someone like that tomorrow night." She smiled wryly. "Also, I suspect you're one of the few people in this town who doesn't know my entire medical history and hasn't already formed opinions about what I can and can't do. I have a 12-year-old son. Bring him. The gala has activities for children. It might be good for both of you." Daniel thought about Tyler, who spent too much time alone while his dad worked. Thought about this woman, who was clearly terrified but trying not to show it. Thought about how sometimes the bravest thing was asking for help. "What time should we be ready?" Relief flooded her face. 7. I'll send the car. We can drive ourselves." "In the Mustang?" Hope crept into her voice. "If you trust me with her, I trust you with more than that, apparently." The next evening, Daniel stood in his bedroom staring at the only suit he owned, bought for his mother's funeral 6 years ago. Tyler appeared in the doorway wearing khakis and a button-down shirt, hair actually combed. "Do I look okay, Dad?" "You look great, kiddo." Daniel straightened Tyler's collar. "Remember, best manners tonight." "I know, you've told me like 50 times." When they pulled up to Victoria's address, Tyler whistled. The house was modern and sprawling, all glass and clean lines. Victoria emerged in a midnight blue gown that somehow made the wheelchair invisible. All Daniel could see was her. "You look beautiful," he said simply. "You clean up well yourself." She smiled at Tyler. "And you must be Tyler. Thank you for coming with your dad tonight. Thanks for inviting us. This house is amazing. Want a quick tour before we go?" While Victoria showed Tyler the house, Daniel noticed the modifications. Wider doorways, lowered counters in the kitchen, a bedroom on the first floor. This wasn't just a house, it was a fortress she'd built to prove she could still live independently. At the gala, held in the grand ballroom of the city's finest hotel, Daniel felt out of place immediately. Crystal chandeliers, champagne fountains, people who probably spent more on shoes than he made in a month. But Victoria moved through it all with calm authority. When people approached, Daniel noticed what she'd mentioned. Some stared at the wheelchair. Others worked so hard to maintain eye contact it became awkward. A few spoke louder, as if the accident had affected her hearing. She handled it all with grace, but he could see the tension in her shoulders. "Dance with me," she said during a quiet moment. "I'm not much of a dancer. Neither am I these days." A challenge in her eyes. "Scared?" He grinned and wheeled her to the edge of the dance floor. As the music played, he knelt beside her chair, taking her hand. They swayed together, unconventional but beautiful in its own way. "People are staring," she murmured. "Let them. We're dancing. This isn't how it's supposed to look. Who decides what it's supposed to look like?" She laughed then, real and genuine. "My board of directors would have a heart attack if they could hear you." "Your board of directors sound boring." "They are. Necessary, but boring." Across the room, Tyler was engaged in animated conversation with another kid near the dessert table. Daniel caught his eye and got a thumbs up in return. Later, a silver-haired man in an expensive tuxedo approached. "Victoria, we need to discuss the merger." "Lawrence, I'm at a gala. It can wait until Monday. The Tokyo office needs an answer. Then they'll get one Monday morning." Her voice was steel wrapped in silk. "I'm spending the evening with friends." "Surely you remember what that's like." Lawrence's eyes flicked to Daniel dismissively before he retreated. "Sorry about that," Victoria said. "Lawrence thinks the company should be my entire life. What do you think?" "I think I used to agree with him. Before the accident, I worked 80-hour weeks, slept in my office half the time. Thought that made me dedicated." She looked down at her hands. "The accident was a drunk driver running a red light. Nothing I could control or prevent. I was in the hospital for 4 months. When I finally came back to work, I expected everything to have fallen apart without me. But it didn't. The company ran fine. My team handled everything. Turns out I wasn't as indispensable as I thought." She smiled sadly. "Kind of humbling. Realizing the world doesn't need you as much as you believed. Maybe they didn't need the 80-hour version. Doesn't mean they don't need you. That's generous. It's true. My son doesn't need a dad who works himself to exhaustion. He needs a dad who shows up and pays attention. Quality over quantity." Daniel paused. I'm still learning that balance myself. Single parenting must be hard, some days, but Tyler makes it easy. He's a good kid. Daniel glanced toward the dessert table where Tyler was demonstrating something with elaborate hand gestures to his new friend. His mother left when he was 4. Said she felt trapped. I was angry for a long time, and now I figure she did us both a favor. Better to leave than stay and resent us. Tyler deserves people who choose to be in his life. Victoria was quiet, absorbing this. You're a good father, I tried. That's all any of us can do. As the evening wound down, they collected Tyler and headed back to the Mustang. Tyler fell asleep in the back seat on the drive home. Thank you, Victoria said softly, for tonight. For making it bearable. You did the hard part. I just showed up. You did more than that. You treated me like a person, not a problem to solve or a tragedy to pity. Daniel pulled up to her house. Can I tell you something? Please. When you wheeled into my shop, I saw someone strong, determined, a little scared maybe, but facing it anyway. The wheelchair was just part of the picture, not the whole story. He turned to look at her. Whatever you think people see, that's not what I see. What do you see? Someone who asked a stranger for help because she wanted to push past her fear. That takes guts. Victoria reached across and took his hand. Would you like to have coffee sometime? Just coffee. No galas or pressure. I'd like that very much. Over the next few weeks, coffee became a regular thing. Then dinner. Then Saturday afternoons when Tyler had soccer and Victoria would come watch, cheering from the sidelines. She fit into their life with surprising ease. One evening, Daniel brought takeout to her house. They ate on her back patio overlooking a garden that was overgrown but still beautiful. I need to tell you something, Victoria said, about why I really asked you to the gala. I thought it was because I'm devastatingly charming. She smiled but didn't take the bait. After the accident, I dated a few times. Men who knew me before, who said the wheelchair didn't matter. But it did. They were too careful, too protective. Made me feel like glass about to shatter. She set down her fork. Or they saw me as some kind of inspiration project, their good deed. That sounds exhausting. It was. So I stopped trying, told myself I was fine alone, threw myself into work even harder. She met his eyes. Then I met you. You didn't know who I was, didn't treat me like I was broken. Just fixed my car and talked to me like a regular person. You are a regular person, I know that, up here. She tapped her temple. But knowing it and feeling it are different things. You made me feel normal again. So I took a chance. Asked you to the gala because I wanted to see if that feeling was real or just wishful thinking. And I think I'm falling for you, Daniel Harrison. Which terrifies me. Daniel moved his chair closer. You want to know what terrifies me? Tyler getting attached to someone who might leave. Me letting myself care about someone and having them decide this life isn't enough. Being hurt again. So we're both scared. Seems like it. What do we do about that? He took her hand. We could walk away. Play it safe. Go back to our separate lives. I don't want that. Neither do I. He squeezed her hand gently. So maybe we try this thing. Scared or not. See where it goes. You'd really want this? The wheelchairs and the medical appointments and the accessibility accommodations? Victoria, I want you. All of you. The brilliant CEO who runs a company. The woman who still gets teary-eyed over her Mustang. The person who showed up scared to a gala but went anyway. Yes, part of your life involves a wheelchair. So what? Part of my life involves a 12-year-old who leaves his socks everywhere and thinks burping the alphabet is hilarious. She laughed through tears. When you put it that way, I'm a simple guy. I fix engines and raise my kid and try to be decent. If you can accept that, I can accept anything that comes with you. Victoria pulled him closer and kissed him. It was soft and tentative and perfect. When they broke apart, she was smiling. Tyler's going to have opinions about this. Tyler already asked if you were going to be his new mom. I told him to slow down. What did he say? That I should hurry up because you're cool and make good cookies. He's a smart kid. 6 months later, Daniel stood in the garage working on a customer's truck when Victoria wheeled in with Tyler. Dad, guess what? Victoria said I can help name her new therapy program. New therapy program? Victoria's eyes sparkled. I'm starting a foundation. Adaptive sports and activities for people with disabilities. Tyler suggested we call it second gear. You know, like in cars, when you need a fresh start. That's perfect, buddy. Daniel high-fived his son. There's more, Victoria said after Tyler ran back to the office. I'm stepping down as CEO. Staying on the board, but I want to run the foundation full-time. That's a big change. I spent 30 years building a company. I'd like to spend the next 30 building something that actually changes lives. The accident took a lot from me, but it also showed me what matters. I don't want to waste any more time on things that don't. Daniel pulled her close, mindful of Tyler potentially watching from the office window. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. For taking the chance. Best decision I ever made was saying yes to that gala. Best decision I ever made was asking a mechanic to be my date. I thought I just fixed engines. She smiled up at him. You fixed more than that, Daniel Harrison. You fixed my heart, too. From the office, Tyler's voice rang out. Are you guys being mushy again? Because I can see you. They laughed, and Daniel thought about how broken things sometimes find each other and become stronger together. How asking for help isn't weakness. How love doesn't care about wheelchairs or social status or what things are supposed to look like. It just cares about showing up and being brave enough to try. Thank you for listening to this story of second chances and unexpected courage. If it touched your heart, please give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late to ask for help or to start again. Subscribe for more stories about finding love when you're not even looking for it. And please leave a comment below. Have you ever taken a chance on something that scared you but turned out to be exactly what you needed? I'd love to hear your story.